Ronaldo.
It's a delight to welcome you all back to London as we are poised to announce the nominations for the third edition of the Best FIFA Football Awards. This is celebrating 12 months of football that's obviously culminated in that Russia World Cup, so fresh in all our memories, certainly mine. I'm Alex Thomas, one of the hosts of CNN's Daily World Sports Show. I was out in Russia for 5 weeks. I think like all of us probably got a well-deserved break afterwards and now back into the swing of seeing things with the new European club season. The date for your diaries is Monday, September the 24th. That's exactly 3 weeks from now. And the new venue this year is going to be the Royal Festival Hall on London's South Bank. Well, you're here today, so we're going to announce the nominations for 7 awards: the Best FIFA Men's and Women's Player of the Year Award, the Best Men's and Women's Coach. We've also got the top shot stopper, if you like, recognised by the Best FIFA Goalkeeper of the Year. We've got the FIFA Puskás Award for Best Goal and the FIFA Fan Award. And here to help me discuss it, we've got 4 FIFA legends. So let me start by announcing a former Olympic champion who was twice African Footballer of the Year, played for Ajax and Arsenal and Inter, amongst many other clubs. And his name is Nwankwo Kanu. We've also got a player capped 100 times, over 100 times for England. Good to see you, Kanu. Take a seat there. And she also played in 2 World Cups. Kelly Smith. Good to see you, Kelly. Take a seat next to Kanu. Now, a player who was known for a very controversial transfer from one part of North London to another, but also went to 3 successive World Cups and European Championships with England, earning more than 70 caps. I'm talking about Sol Campbell. And on to a 5-time English Premier League champion with Manchester United, who won UEFA's European Championships in 1992 with his home country of Denmark, Peter Schmeichel. Great to have all 4 of you on the stage with me. Of course, one other award we haven't mentioned that's going to be unveiled on the night in 3 weeks' time at that Royal Festival Hall is the World 11. And every year, FIFPro, the World Football Players Union, together with FIFA, invites professional footballers to select their World 11. They're counting the votes as we speak, back in their headquarters in Amsterdam, near Amsterdam. They're expecting around 23,000 votes from footballers from around 70 countries. This is a unique award because it's decided exclusively by the players. Each voter has to select 1 goalkeeper, 4 defenders, 3 midfielders, and 3 forwards. And 55 players with the most votes will be announced in a week's time. That's the 10th of September at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, Central European time. FIFPro and FIFA will make that announcement, and then the World 11 will be picked from those 55 players, and that announcement will be on September the 24th. I'm not sure whether we can see the picture from last year. You might remember the host, Idris Elba, taking a bit of a selfie with all those players on stage. And it was quite a good selfie. Lots of well-known players will be in that World 11. Kanu, when you've got an award that's from your fellow professionals, does it mean that a little bit more to you?
Yeah, it means a lot because, of course, they are involved and they are the real ones that knows what football is all about. And they have morning, evening, they sleep, they eat football, they love football. So it's always good to have that from them, saying that you're the best or picked you for any award. It's so special.
Yeah, and Kelly, we can see the World 11 from last year on there. Do you expect there to be many different names? I mean, some of them just perform year in, year out. I suppose that's the mark of a good player, isn't it?
Yeah, it's certainly hard as a former professional player to bring it week in, week out, and you see those players there, they do it consistently for their club and country. And when you've played against those kind of players, when you're writing it down on the form, it springs to your mind as soon as possible, the best players that you've played against. It's easy. So seeing all those players there, I see Is that Piqué, Ronaldo? Expect to see them in Iniesta.
I mean,
It's
Ronaldo and
fantastic.
Messi are two ever-presents, aren't they? But Sol, do you think we've seen it both in club football and other international competition, not just the World Cup in Russia, that some new names are starting to emerge?
Well, hopefully, yeah, and hopefully there'll be some English teams in there because some of the lads have played really, really well over the season. Maybe Harry Kane squeezes in there, Mo Salah as well. So it'd be nice to see some English teams in there. That's what I'm hoping anyway.
Okay, I'm not going to ask you just yet, Peter, because we're going to hear plenty from you a bit later on, if that's okay. But just to remind everyone that, of course, FIFA have been handing out recognition for best players and teams for years, but this is the third edition of these Best FIFA Football Awards. And one of the things about it is, as we saw in 2017, the start of the Best FIFA Goalkeeper of the Year award. It was won by the former Juventus legend, now at Paris Saint-Germain, Gianluigi Buffon. FIFA's going to continue with this award this year, and a panel of FIFA legends has come up with a three-person shortlist that we can take a look at now. That last good-looking, blonde-haired chap, probably fairly recognisable to you, Peter. Where did he get his looks from, then?
I have no idea.
Is it good to see this FIFA Best Goalkeeper of the Year award, something you may have won a few times if it had been around in your day?
Yeah, it is. I mean, every position wants to have an award where you can be singled out for good performances, and there is this idea that goalkeepers are, a person separated from the team. So it's only right that there is an award like this, and I kind of like three names there.
Yeah, Courtois, Lloris, Schmeichel, one of them will be named FIFA's Best Goalkeeper of the Year in 3 weeks' time at the Royal Festival Hall. Buffon won it last year. Italy didn't go to the World Cup. This is recognition of all football for the last 12 months. But in a World Cup year, that's got to have some influence.
I mean, I'm part of the voting panel, and I find it really difficult to see beyond the World Cup. I think because the World Cup it's every 4 years, it's difficult to get there in the first place, and once you're there, you have to get everything right. And it's just such a massive tournament, so if you can't perform there, then I don't think you should be in this company. And what you've done up till there is less important to me as a voter. It's when it really matters, and you have 4 days between games of this magnitude that you can put it on, and you can continue putting it on. And for me, I was voting 98% on World Cup performances. Okay,
Kanu, can I ask someone not named Schmeichel to say who they like out of those three?
It's a difficult one, knowing that, this is the best three in the world. And in the World Cup, which is the biggest stage, like he really rightly said, you have to perform. And in the finals, we know who is in the post in the finals. And
you don't have to be so diplomatic. No one's going to crucify you.
No. But the truth is that to be in the World Cup and to perform in the World Cup and to be in the finals, it means a lot. The whole world wants to know who you are and what you can bring on board, and he did that.
Okay, it's funny. Everyone's so as cautious as they were last year. It's good to see, but it's a hard decision for the people having to pick it. Let's move on to the goal of the year, the Puskás Award. Been going since 2009, obviously named after the Hungarian legend Ferenc Puskás. Former winners include the likes of Cristiano Ronaldo, Brazilian star Neymar. Last year, it was, of course, Olivier Giroud for that scorpion kick while playing still for Arsenal. He's since moved on to Chelsea. These are for goals scored between the period July 3rd last year up until the final day of the FIFA World Cup, the final itself on Sunday, July the 15th. So unfortunately for Fabio Quagliarella, with that wonderful goal for Sampdoria against Napoli, it's been doing the rounds on social media over the last 24 hours. It's going to rule him out. But I think if we take a look now, you'll see there are some other very good goals. So a few changes to this award this year, 10 goals now shortlisted, slightly more than last year. And the crucial thing about this is that people can go online to vote. You need to be a registered fan at FIFA.com, and the voting will take place right up to awards night in 3 weeks' time on September the 24th. So those 10 goals chosen by a panel of FIFA and external football experts. Canna, you scored a few spectacular goals in your time. Which took your fancy? You're not allowed to sit on the fence this time.
No, it's difficult to back the goalkeeper and then to score. When you see the post, when you see the post from every angle, you can score from there if you're a good player. But to back and to do the bicycle kick is always difficult.
Yeah.
Because you don't really know where he is. And to get the ball where you want it to be is always difficult. And especially when the ball is on the air. What do you do with it? So for me, I will go for Cristiano Ronaldo and Gareth Bale.
Kelly, you scored 46 goals in a glittering international career. Any overheads amongst your...
It's such a hard technique to master. It's so hard to practice.
Why have we sort of seen it come back?
The service has to come in so perfectly.
Yeah.
You have to judge the flight of the ball. You get yourself up and connect perfectly
We're told
with
that
it.
Cristiano was practicing, knowing he'd get the chance in a big match, missed it lots of times, dozens of times, but you forget all the failed attempts when you see it go in.
That's the thing too with Ronaldo. You know, he has so many free kicks in training that go over the bar wide, but when it matters, the focus, the dedication, and all those hours of practice that you've done, the rehearsals, and then when that big moment comes and that free kick, and you can get the ball up and over, that's why he's one of the best players in the world.
Good. So you scored a few goals, even being a central defender.
Probably a few overhead.
What do you make of it when you see the fancy goal? As a no-nonsense defender, you're saying, "Oh, come on, get on with it." Or
Yeah, you know, obviously it's brilliance. Really, you've got Gareth Bale there, you've got Messi and Ronaldo scoring amazing goals, and they've been fantastic for their team. But for me, you've got Benjamin Pavard from France. You know, not usually scoring a wonderful goal.
and it was a real kind of, can't believe he did that
and,
moment.
you know, for
wasn't
me as a defender, that's he'll have that goal etched in his mind forever. And I'm like that kind of person who wants defenders in there, but I don't think he's going to win. But he scored an amazing goal.
Peter, does the occasion matter? The fact that you had two overhead kicks there in Bale and Ronaldo's, one was in a final, one wasn't.
You know, the technique is difficult. As Kelly says, you rehearse and you practice. Even I did that, by the way, as a goalkeeper. Because you always think at some point you can come up there and show your skills.
As a goalie, is it much
really
harder
difficult
to spot because their body shape's so completely different?
From a goalkeeper's perspective, you cannot read it. Because, again, as Kelly, you have to lift yourself up. Then you got to connect. There's no body language to read. The ball can hit the inside, the outside, the middle of the foot, and that determines where it goes. So you have to react to the ball, and that's why you see overhead kicks that hits the target. Very often they go in as well. But if I was voting, I wouldn't vote for them. I think they're great goals, but I really love Riley McCree's goal. I think that is extraordinary. That
Pretty similar to
and it
that
deserves to
Gabriella one
win.
we saw.
You know,
Yeah.
I mean, just thinking about doing that, the ball is behind you, and then flick it with your heel, and you see the goalkeeper stranded in the middle there. He's got everything covered. The one thing he didn't cover was that, and I thought that was brilliant.
Yeah, fun award. I really enjoyed the Puskás award. As I said, voting on FIFA.com goes right through to the day of the awards on September the 24th. For most of the main awards, and we're going to include the Coaches Award in this one, there is a unique procedure that singles out the best FIFA awards because they divide up 25% of the votes from national team coaches, 25% from national team captains, another 25% from a selected journalist in each of those FIFA federations, and of course 25% from registered FIFA.com fans. And let's move on to the FIFA Men's Coach of the Year and listen and take a look at these three nominations for that. Peter, you were talking about how the World Cup inevitably crept into your mind being on one of the panels. And when you look at the first coach on that list, Zlatko Dalic, we spent our life, you as ex-players, me as journalists, trying to pick before the tournament started who would be the dark horses. Croatia surprised us all, didn't they?
Yeah, I mean, what he's done is incredible, and I've made no secret today. I've spoken to a few media people today that he is my favourite to win it. I think what they did, Croatia, was to sack the manager after they drew 1-1 with Finland, the one game before the last qualification game, and they needed to go to Ukraine to win in order to get into the playoffs, just the playoffs. And he was number 3 on the list. The first two said, no, we don't want to do that. And he said, when's the plane leaving? They won the game 2-0. He won the playoffs. And he only had those couple of months to work with the players. And what I saw in the World Cup with Croatia was this incredible team spirit, the willingness to run and work really hard for each other, and also create so much incredible play with the skill set that these players had. And this guy here, he made it all happen. It was really, honestly, it was incredible to watch. And with Didier Deschamps winning the World Cup as a coach, as he did as a captain for France, it's incredible. Zidane winning the Champions League again, it's incredible. But for me, it doesn't stand to measure with what Zlatko Dalic did.
And so with Deschamps, I mean, completely different to Dalic because France went in as one of the hot favourites. He'd already failed on home soil in that Euro 2016 final against Portugal, given another chance, a lot more pressure. So it's success of a different kind, but equally laudable.
Yeah, but, obviously he's a vastly experienced coach and incredibly successful as a player. Yes, to be honest, I think they should have won the Euros. They missed the vital chances, and Portugal just had one chance and stuck it away. But
how hard for him then to go with the same set of players, but give them that little bit of extra, so that suddenly the success arrives on a world stage 2 years later?
Yeah, you have to keep on going, and obviously the French Federation, kept faith with him, and they knew the quality behind the scenes. They know the quality he possessed. And, he had to make some tough decisions as well, with a few players not bringing them back in, and he kind of kept the faith, especially with Giroud at front. A lot of criticism was at him because he was almost just a target man, but he wasn't scoring. But he knew he was a vital cog and point, and he knew this is the man for us to kind of, once he got over his injury and we put him in, that was it. And sometimes you've got to be a strong man to kind of not listening to the media and really say, I know football and this is the way I'm going to go.
Because, Hannu, I guess the one thing that fans always ask is, how much effect does a coach have? Yes, we know the best coaches out there with the best records, but once 11 people are on the pitch, it's down to what you've been told in training, but it's down to you at the end of the day.
Yeah, for players.
Can you get lucky as a coach as well, I guess what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, you can, if you love your players and your players love you. When players love coaches, they give everything. They want to die for you. it's not every coach that wants to give that love to players. If they want to be straight, they want to be difficult, they want to push them, they want to do whatever they want to do. But the ones that have played football before knows what it takes, and they know that, yeah, you can coach, you can tell them whatever you want to tell them, but you have to make them feel comfortable, feel happy, and then they can give you back the results. And I think that's why Zidane and Didier is doing what they are doing now.
So those are nominations for the Men's Coach of the Year. What about the Best FIFA Women's Coach of the Year? Let's take a look at those nominations. So last year's winner on that list, Kelly, no surprise, I guess another strong year for the Netherlands, although their World Cup qualification isn't sewn up yet. A big crucial night in that 2019 Women's World Cup final qualification coming up again on tomorrow. But when you look at someone like Renar Pedros and how amazing Lyon were in the club season last season, perhaps that's no surprise. Fair enough, you happy with those nominations?
Yeah, I think they're, for me, the top three. I think Weigman has proved on the world stage, winning the European Championships with Holland and playing really good, attractive football out in Holland in 2017. I was there doing TV work, and they really took the tournament by storm, having that in their homeland. And they've got such fantastic attacking talent. And also, you know, Lyon, you just mentioned it, for them to win the double and do it so convincingly, and they've got such a fantastic squad and good finances to get those right players in. So there's a real good, strong three right there.
Yeah. Kanu, Asako Takakura has just led Japan to victory in the Asian Cup. Clearly, when you're in this sort of European football bubble, you forget about some of the competitions across the globe. But if you have success back in your home continent, how important is that to, you know, the optimism of the team?
Very, very important, knowing that it's always difficult to come out from that continent and come and do well in Europe or in the world. I watched their game. They play with style. They enjoyed it, and they had fun, and they were thick. They were really tough to beat or even to score against. And it's always difficult for a team that way, of that nature, to see teams to break them down. But for them, when I watch them, it's always difficult to get close to them.
Yeah.
They always play the ball, they enjoyed it, and they have a lot of chances. It's not like when they beat you, it's only one chance, two chances, or they are lucky. No, they're not. They're always lucky, they're always creating chances, they're always scoring, and they're playing with flavor. And that's the beautiful football. And for a continent from that side to come and showcase that kind of skills and flavor, you have to give credit to her.
Okay. We've been talking about the celebration of football over the last 12 months, not just the World Cup, but it has dominated our thinking. But this is a celebration not just of the players and the coaches, but clearly the fans that contribute so much to what makes this the biggest and most popular sport on the planet. So for the third time, there's going to be a FIFA Fan Award. This recognises an outstanding fan moment or a gesture of good sportsmanship. The nominees decided by a panel of FIFA legends, and we can take a look at who they picked now.
A lot for this moment, and it's really, really exciting to see our country and all our friends, our family. A lot of Peruvians, we almost been like 50,000, I don't know, we're a lot, and it's like being home. Vamos, vamos, Perú, porque yo creo en ti. Vamos, vamos, Perú, porque yo creo en ti. Vamos, vamos, Perú, porque Perú, viva Perú.
Now, a bit like the Puskás Award, this is one where the fans can get involved. You can go to FIFA.com, vote for that right up to the night of the awards as well. Go to FIFA.com to pick your favourite fans moment. It's worth explaining actually about the lone spectator in the bottom right of your screen. That's Sebastian Carrera. This is someone that travelled around 1,500 kilometres to go and cheer on his team at a Chilean Primera B game, and he was the only away fan to turn up. They actually had to open a tribune just for him. His team won, and the players dedicated their victory to this one fan who's become a bit of a minor celebrity back in Chile. That's a nice story, but I know Kelly and Peter, just looking at those Peru fans and the Japanese and Senegal ones too, is probably transported you back to Russia temporarily, because we were broadcasting from those positions near Red Square. It was very obvious which countries had sent a lot of supporters.
Yeah, thousands and thousands come from Peru, and you could really sense that. You could see the red and white shirts, and
It's their first World Cup since 1982, to be fair, so you can understand why around 40,000 decided.
And I didn't actually get to sleep in my hotel, because where my hotel was, it was the main stretch, so every game there was parties until 5, 6 in the morning, and most of them were from Peru. But I really like the Japanese, how they clean up after the games. It's just such a respectful thing to do, and I love the fact that when Japan got knocked out, they tidied up their dressing room and made no marks whatsoever. Everything was put in the bin and clean, and there was a note saying thank you for your hospitality. So that was, for me, pure class.
Yeah. Peter, which fans made an impression on you in Russia?
Well, I think that's a difficult one, this category, because who's the best of them? It's just amazing that the fans doing cleaning up after them. And I mean, it would be so great if more fans would do that. We have a situation in Denmark when FC Copenhagen and Brøndby, they don't clean up. They smash the stadium up. And you think if they can take a little bit of a lesson from that, it was amazing. But I like this one guy who would travel the 1,500 kilometers to follow his team. I like fans that are that passionate, that have to watch the team regardless of where they play.
Good story, isn't it?
It's just an incredible story.
I guess if all fans cleared up, they wouldn't make the nominations.
No, the thing is, we're quite spoiled in terms of the clubs that we've played for, the fans, how loyal they are, but they come out in numbers, and you hear them when you're away from home, and they do help you.
Yeah.
This guy was on his own, helping his team winning that game. I think that's amazing.
That's another online vote, as I mentioned. Go to FIFA.com, and the fans can vote for that right up to the day itself. Okay, let's move on to the two big awards, starting with the Best FIFA Women's Player of the Year. Clearly, the Men's World Cup in Russia took centre stage. Despite this being a celebration of all football for the last season, the Women's World Cup is bound to do that when it's held in France next year. The USA, the defending champions, having won in Canada, beating Japan in the final 5-2 4 years ago. It's also been an astonishing season for French club Lyon, as we were mentioning a second ago. Let's take a look at the nominations for this award. Worth reminding you about the voting process, 25% falling to national team coaches, 25% to captains, 25% to journalists from each of the federations, and 25% coming from the fans. FIFA won't know who's going to win this award till hours before that ceremony, so it really is up for grabs. And Kelly, we've seen Marta on that list so many times. She's won more awards in the women's game than any previous footballer. But the other two players clearly leading lights as the game just changes so hugely.
Yeah, they're big stars, especially Marozsan for Germany, plays for Lyon, fantastic player, really controls the tempo of the game every time she plays. I love watching her play. She just glides with the ball. And then Hedberg, I think she scored 31 goals. and 15 in a Champions League. That's a record. So for me, I think she should win it just of the pure fact of the amount of goals that she's scored. Winning the Champions League with Lyon is a massive feat too. But all three of them have been outstanding this year.
Okay, just for time's sake, let's move straight on to the Men's Player of the Year, the best FIFA Men's Player of the Year. The voting the same as before, and here are your nominations. Wow, what a lineup, and slightly different to previous years as well. Maybe the unique way this voting system happens for the Best FIFA Awards is starting to show there. By the way, all the voting independently verified and audited by an external company as well. And we've got Cristiano Ronaldo, we've seen him before, Peter, Luka Modric and Mo Salah. We were talking about the prominence of the World Cup, but in terms of Mo Salah's presence, that's down to an amazing club season.
Yeah, and he's had an incredible season with Liverpool. He is an unbelievable player. Unfortunately for him in Egypt, he was injured going into the World Cup. He did play in the second game, but we didn't see the best of him in that World Cup, unfortunately. But what a fantastic season he's had, and what a player he is. I have to be honest, I don't think he stands much chance of winning this one.
And we go back to...
I even think that we have a new winner this season, because the guy in the middle there, for what he's done, people kind of forget. People say, well, Cristiano, he won the Champions League again. But people kind of forget that Luka Modric also won 3 times in a row. But his performances in the World Cup was just incredible. And to sort of watch him lead his team on the pitch, to not be only the technical player that we know he is, the guy that provides and make chances for other players, score goals, but to see him to being the fighter, the one that tackles, the one that dives in, that runs until he cannot run anymore. I think his performances was fantastic, and rightly so. He got the best player in the World Cup, and I fully expect him to win this one.
I agree with the physical effort. Sol, I remember being in the stadiums watching Luke, and you could just see the effort that it was costing him, especially as so many other games went to extra time.
Yeah, but that just shows, Luka, coming from Tottenham to Real Madrid, it was a massive move, and he settled down very, very well, and, the rest is history. I think just the performances for Croatia, especially against England, when he had to kind of, the first 20 minutes, England really had them, but then he just woke up and said, this is not me, right, I'm going to start picking holes and moving around in the right positions and start hurting England, and the rest is history, really.
So would you agree with Peter?
Yeah, I think for me, that obviously winning the Champions League, but also the performances, the high quality performances in the World Cup was second to none, really. Mo Salah scored tons of goals, unbelievable for a winger. But he just got injured in the Champions League final, and we didn't really see the best of him at the World Cup. And Cristiano Ronaldo, he's always doing really well, scoring loads of goals. So I think for me, hopefully there is a new kind of winner. But Luka is played phenomenal.
We've run out of time, but so Kelly, just give me one name from that list.
I have to agree with these guys. I think he had
Modric.
a fantastic World Cup, yeah.
Anu?
The same Luka Modric.
Wow, clean sweep for Luka Modric. Maybe the Messi-Ronaldo grip on these awards has finally been broken. That brings to the end our session just discussing the nominations for the Best FIFA Football Awards. Our legends are going to stay on stage for a moment. Don't forget that we're not going to know what's going to happen, even FIFA don't, up until the night of those awards, especially with the Puskás and Fan Awards. Get onto FIFA.com and cast your vote. The date in your diary is September the 24th at the Royal Festival Hall here in London on the South Bank. If you want to come up here and have a selfie with the trophy, you can. Post it on social media with the hashtag #TheBest. Thanks for listening. Just stay here, guys.